Other interesting business news, you have Renault eating an $11 billion loss on Nissan, which is not great. This credited to Brian Hurd at thedrive.com as well. And they say, quote, Renault eats $11 billion loss from Nissan's catastrophic implosion. Nissan's ongoing financial issues have taken their toll on the French alliance partner Renault, which I'm sorry, I should put a visual disclaimer on the screen here. You're going to see a Nissan logo. Oh, thank God you don't see a Nissan in this particular picture, as most of them are abhorrently disgusting, with the exception of the Z. Now, diving into the actual article, they say that, quote, it's no secret Nissan has spent the better part of the past few years in sales freefall. But after months of doom and gloom and rampant speculation, the accountants have finally put together a number of how bad things have gotten. $11 billion. Jeez Louise. Almost like Dr. Evil. $11 billion. Ouch. With $11 billion, which is how much the alliance partner Renault is writing off in the first half of 2025, as its Japanese counterpart teeters on the verge of collapse. If there's any quote-unquote good news here for Renault, and I use that term loosely, is that the $11 billion effectively only exists on paper. It represented money already invested in Nissan's operations. In the sense, this is Renault's way of acknowledging that it effectively threw money into the trash bin. Yeah. From now on, Renault will value its Nissan holdings based strictly on the automaker's share price. Renault's shares were slightly up on the news. Nissan's were down. The French company currently owns 37.5% of the Japanese alliance partner. The situation is desperate here in the United States, which is Nissan's largest single market. Vinay Shanghai, who heads up U.S. sales for Nissan, told dealer representatives that early Q2 sales figures were nothing short of, quote, absolute catastrophe, which is also a good Scrabble word with the ADHD thought of the day right there. And they say, quote, according to the results, the company's second quarter sales declined 6.5% compared to a year ago. The core Nissan division was down 6.1%, while sales of the luxury subsidiary Infiniti were down 12.7%, which a lot of my friends and I kind of joke, like, what's the purpose of Infiniti? Again, the G30 was G35 and 37, pretty cool back in the day. But this kind of joke is Infiniti just kind of exists as like practice to selling a real luxury car because, again, it barely exists. And people make fun of Honda with their luxury line with Acura. Honda's defense, Acura actually sells pretty well. Well, anything in comparison to Nissan's Infiniti does. But yeah, Infiniti for decades has just never been seen as a great value if you want like a luxury vehicle. Like, everyone just knows it's a discounted Nissan. There's a lot of parts sharing with all these companies with the luxury divisions, of course, but it just never really recovered from, I would say, the peak that they had in the 90s. And again, I'm not surprised Infiniti's sales are down 12.7%. You see that the Nissan's brand full year results were closer to flat compared to 2024, thanks to a stronger pre-sales tariff in Q1. Though the interest has since cooled, Infiniti's full year sales remained down at 9%. Nissan CEO Ivan Espinosa has signaled his willingness to do virtually anything necessary to shore up the company's performance in implementing a new strategy dubbed Re-Nissan, which will reduce the company's workforce by another 11,000 and consolidate its 17 production plants down to 10, all by the end of 2027. Which, yeah, I have no idea how Nissan is still in business. One of the first comments kind of correlates their existence right now to how Mitsubishi used to be back in the day, which, again, Mitsubishi, I would say they're best known for being the discount Japanese car. Don't get me wrong, I would love to win the lottery and get now a vintage Lancer Evo or Lancer Evolution. Those are awesome rally cars and fun track toys and pretty good build quality for the most part. But yeah, now when people think of Mitsubishi, they think of the Mirage, which from an engineering perspective in terms of hitting a price point is admirable, but it's known for being a cheap car, which actually was the cheapest new car you could get in North America when it was still being produced. And with Nissan, they are struggling so badly. And I think I've said this before, but I think the biggest issues with the build quality and the reliability, or rather the lack thereof. I mean, years ago, the biggest I'd say the biggest catastrophe in Nissan's existence was a CVT transmission, which would never affect me because I've never owned a car with the automatic transmission. However, I know I'm in the minority. It's their continuous variable transmission. It was trash. It would basically grenade itself at like 50, 60,000 miles. I think they put in a lot of things, but most famously is in the Ultima. And yeah, just ever since then, I think how many people do I know who have a Nissan, anecdotally speaking? I have one friend who has a vintage, GTR, which that's awesome. That's obviously perfection. It does come with a stick shift, every car should have by default. But yeah, when you think of Nissan, what's the compelling reason to buy one? Don't get me wrong. If I won the lottery, I'd probably get a new Nissan Z. It has a stick shift, it has a pull brake, twin turbo V6. That's a great fun little track toy. There's a lot of parts sharing between that and the 370Z and even the 350Z for some of the parts, but so, it's a fun little toy. But for my daily driver, whatever buy a Nissan. I mean, right now, I sure as heck wouldn't. But let me know. Do you know anyone who has bought a Nissan in the past 12 months? Perhaps the only reason people would do it so is the Nissan credit division, which, if you do have a pulse to their credit, they'll get you approved. Might not have a high propensity of paying, but they will get you approved initially. So let me know in the comments. Do you know anyone who's bought a Nissan, and why do you think the brand is continuing to struggle? And do you think they'll make it any much longer? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone, everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.